Cowboys Nation, welcome back to the channel. As the Dallas Cowboys wrap up the 2024 season, one thing remains constant. This team is always striving to improve, both on the field and behind the scenes. Every decision made now will shape the future of our beloved Cowboys, and today we're diving deep into the latest buzz around Mike McCarthy, Jerry Jones, and a surprising new addition to the roster. Before we get started, do me a favor. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Let's keep growing this incredible Cowboys community and stay connected through every twist and turn. Let's get into it. Coming off a 41-7 loss to the Eagles, the Cowboys have been eliminated from playoff contention, marking only the second losing season under head coach Mike McCarthy. With his contract expiring on January 14th, speculation about his future is reaching a fever pitch. Jerry Jones, our iconic yet unpredictable owner, hasn't given fans or the media much clarity. When asked directly about potential coaching candidates, including John Gruden, Jones deflected the question entirely, stating, "I just don't have any comment there at all. John is a friend, and let's leave it at that." For those wondering if Gruden might be in the mix, it's important to note that he hasn't held a head coaching job since resigning from the Raiders in 2021 amidst controversy. While he worked as a consultant for the Saints last season, his name remains polarizing, and Jones knows it. But let's bring it back to McCarthy. Should he stay or go? The case for McCarthy. McCarthy delivered 3 straight 12-win seasons before this year's disappointing campaign. His leadership through injuries, especially to Dak Prescott, has earned him respect from the locker room. Dak himself has publicly endorsed McCarthy's return. The case against McCarthy. This season's underwhelming 8-9 record raises questions about whether McCarthy can take this team to the next level. Add to that Jerry Jones's reluctance to extend his contract after last year's playoff loss to the Packers, and it's clear the leash is short. If McCarthy doesn't return, the Cowboys coaching staff faces an uncertain future. Defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer, who signed a 1-year deal this season, could also be on the move. Zimmer's unit has had its ups and downs, but his wealth of experience makes him an attractive candidate elsewhere. Let's not forget, if the Cowboys part ways with McCarthy, they'll need to find a replacement. The coaching candidate pool isn't particularly deep this year, which could factor into Jones' decision. If there's no clear upgrade, sticking with McCarthy might be the safer bet. What do you think, Cowboys Nation? Who would you want as head coach if McCarthy doesn't return? Drop your thoughts in the comments. In a surprising move, the Cowboys have added cornerback Luke Barku to their practice squad. Barku, a 26-year-old former Pittsburgh Steeler, brings limited NFL experience but plenty of potential. Here's the scoop. Barku spent over a year with the Steelers but was sidelined by injury during off-season training. His last NFL action came in 2020, appearing in 3 games with the Jacksonville Jaguars. While this signing might not seem monumental, it's a clear signal that Dallas is already looking ahead to the future. With cornerback depth being a concern throughout the season, Barku could provide valuable competition in training camp next year. What do you think about this addition? Is it a smart move for depth or just another practice squad shuffle? The Cowboys' final game of the season against the Washington Commanders is more than just a formality. While Dallas won't make the playoffs, this game could still have implications. If the Cowboys win, they play spoiler for Washington, potentially knocking them down to the 7th seed in the NFC. A win would also mean Dallas finishes the season with 5 wins in their last 7 games, showing resilience despite a tough year. For fans, it's one last chance to see this team in action before the offseason officially begins. And who knows, this game might even serve as an audition for players or coaches looking to make their case for next season. The offseason promises to be one of the most pivotal in recent memory. Beyond the coaching decisions, the front office will need to address key roster concerns, including offensive line, injuries, and inconsistency plagued this unit all year. Secondary. Depth remains an issue, and adding a player like Barku could be just the beginning. Wide receivers. Outside of CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys need more reliable options. Jerry Jones has never been afraid to make bold moves, and this offseason will likely be no different. Let's start with a bright spot for the Cowboys. Micah Parsons, the heart and soul of this defense, is gearing up for Week 18 with a chance to extend his streak of double-digit sack seasons. Parsons, who currently sits at 9.5 sacks, was a full participant in practice Friday and looks ready to go despite briefly appearing on the injury report with a wrist issue. This streak isn't just a personal milestone, it's a testament to his consistency and dominance since entering the league. Parsons has been the centerpiece of a defense that, at its best, has carried this team through tough stretches. His ability to disrupt quarterbacks and make game-changing plays has solidified him as one of the most exciting players in the NFL. Cowboys Nation, do you think Parsons will reach that 10-sack mark? Let me know in the comments below. Week 18 signals the end of a frustrating season for Dallas. With a 7-9 record, the Cowboys are officially out of playoff contention. But this final game against the Washington Commanders isn't without significance. Here's what's on the line. Spoiler alert, if Dallas beats Washington, it could drop the Commanders from the NFC's 6th seed to the 7th. While we're not in the playoffs, there's some satisfaction in playing spoiler for a division rival. Momentum for 2025. A win would mark 5 victories in the Cowboys' last 7 games, a sign of resilience despite a tough year. Player evaluations. This game is a final audition for many players on the roster, including those fighting for a spot in 2025. The Cowboys have ruled out cornerback Keeman Hall, hamstring, while Chuma Edoga, toe, Mozzie Smith, pelvis, and Nick Vigil, foot, are questionable. On the positive side, Jalen Tolbert and Jordan Lewis are good to go, adding depth in key positions. As the Cowboys prepare for the offseason, several players are likely suiting up for the last time in Big D. Let's take a closer look at these names and their journeys. Andrew Booth, acquired in a trade from Minnesota. Booth never quite found his footing in Dallas. With just 15 tackles and 1 pass breakup, he's been a liability in coverage and is unlikely to return. Linval Joseph, DT at 36, Joseph has been a solid rotational run defender with 19 tackles and 2 sacks. While he's exceeded expectations, this was always a short-term arrangement. Dalvin Cook, RBA late addition to help the struggling ground game, Cook hasn't made much of an impact with just 20 rushing yards on 8 attempts. Week 18 will likely be his final appearance in Dallas. Carl DeLawson has been a quiet but effective pass rusher with 5 sacks this season. However, with Sam Williams set to return in 2025, there may not be room for Lawson on next year's roster. Trey Lance QB Jerry Jones took a gamble trading for Lance, but the experiment hasn't paid off. Lance has barely seen the field, and Week 18 might be his swan song in Dallas. Brandon Cooks, once seen as a reliable weapon, injuries and inconsistent play have hampered Cooks' impact. At 31, his time with the Cowboys appears to be coming to an end. Osa Odigizua, DTA standout 3rd-round pick. Odigizua has developed into one of the league's top interior pass rushers. But with his rookie deal expiring, the Cowboys likely won't match the massive contract he's projected to command. In free agency, the offseason will be a critical time for the Cowboys to reassess their roster and coaching staff. With Mike McCarthy's future uncertain and several key players potentially departing, Jerry Jones faces some tough decisions. Key areas to address include offensive line. Injuries have been a constant issue, and depth needs to improve. Defensive. Secondary, with several cornerbacks underperforming, expect Dallas to target this position in free agency or the draft. Wide receiver depth. Outside of CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys need more reliable pass-catching options. Now it's your turn. Should Mike McCarthy stay as head coach, or is it time for a fresh start? How do you feel about John Gruden as a potential candidate, or any other options? What areas should the Cowboys prioritize this offseason? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinions fuel the conversation, and we want to hear from every corner of Cowboys Nation. Cowboys fans, this season may not have ended the way we hoped, but brighter days are ahead. Whether it's a coaching shakeup, roster improvements, or another strong draft class, this team is always evolving, and so are we as fans. Thank you for watching today's deep dive into the future of the Dallas Cowboys. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Together, we'll navigate the highs and lows of Cowboys football and keep the passion alive. Go Cowboys!